My name is Pilisa. I make videos on productivity and wellness and basically just showing up as the best version of yourself. So if this is something that resonates with you, why don't you hit the subscribe button so that we can grow our community and make 2025 the best year yet. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thank you for stopping by. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back again. I just want to take this moment to say thank you to the people that have recently subscribed to the channel. Welcome to the community. This video, I'm going to be telling you about, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 productivity hacks that I think could change your life. Stick around because number 4, the 4th hack seems a bit counterintuitive, but I promise you, if you stick with it, you'll see that it does make a difference and it would actually make sense. And it's one of the things that you are going to implement in your own life. We are all about productivity and self-improvement, but it's about personalizing it and making it work for you. First hack that I think can change your life is education. Well, if you watch any of my videos, you would know that I'm a huge proponent of formal education, but I think any form of education does enrich your life. So while we are on that, I have a couple of videos that you can go back and watch if you are interested in furthering your education or if you want to study abroad. And make sure that you subscribe to this channel so that you can get notified if I post such videos. Education can improve your life. I want to just insert a disclaimer or a caveat that says that not everyone who is well educated will be successful. We understand that. And conversely, not everyone who's unsuccessful, it's because of their education. Life just happens sometimes. But I wanted to touch on education because I believe that it is one of the equalizers that we can use in modern times. For example, we're inundated with a lot of success stories about people that did not finish their college education, for example, Bill Gates. But what is not really spoken about is how those people are actually outliers, and you have a higher chance of being successful or making a mark in the world if you have some form of education. Now, again, I'm not saying this to disqualify you if you do not have, if you haven't been educated formally. But I'm just saying, if you're young and you're watching this and you are thinking about maybe pursuing higher education, or even if you're not young, if you're just thinking of pursuing education, it's one of the things that will take you a step further in life, and it has a higher success rate than not having a good education. So I'm just going to go back to the success stories that we all know about. For example, we know about the founder of Facebook, what's his name? Mark Zuckerberg. And then the story that everybody knows, the founder of Microsoft, Bill Gates. So a couple of months ago, maybe last year or the year before, I read a story about the startup and the things that had worked in Bill Gates' favor for him to become the founder of Microsoft. And this story is not as well known as the fact that, oh, Bill Gates is a dropout from Harvard, yet he's so successful. For example, did you know that Bill Gates attended one of the first high schools in America to have a computer? Secondly, Bill Gates and his friend, and 2 of his friends were assigned the task of drawing up the school's timetable. Therefore, had more access to the computer lab than all the others, than most of his of the students or the peers in his class. So I bring this up to say that as much as he did drop out of Harvard, the fact that he got in Harvard first off, and then he drops out of Harvard, my point is that a lot had to go right for him to become the founder of Microsoft. Even the people that are well known for creating billion-dollar companies, where they started at the back of the parents' garage. What people fail to say is that most of these people had very rich parents, and they had parents that had connections in high places that made it possible for them to succeed despite not having the level of education that is required for most of us, for the normal or the regular person. Have you here? Let me just remind you that I do make videos on how to write letters for scholarships, and scholarships that are open and are annual scholarships. That means you can apply for them every year. So subscribe and have a look at those videos. I might just put 1 or 2 here and here. Second thing I wanted to touch on was identifying your peak productivity period. So what I mean by this is knowing when you are most productive, or when it is easiest for you to be productive. I know there's a lot of discourse around getting up early, or even sayings like the early bird catches the worm. Even the book Club sold about 15 million copies in its first year of release in 2018. The 5 a.m. Club has become a cult classic in the spaces of productivity and self-help. But what I want to consider is that, do you think the 15 million people that have purchased a copy of the 5 a.m. Club, do you think that their lives are infinitely better now, or have they all suddenly become morning people? I don't think so. It could be that there's like 15 million people walking out there because of the book, and they're all just well, let me not go off. Anyway, my point is, not everyone will be a morning person. Some people do best in the morning, hence the 5 a.m. Club. Some people do best in the morning as well, but just not at 5 a.m. You could choose 7 to 9 or some other time. Some people do better midday. I'm yet to meet those people. And some people would do better in the evening. And then you have the night owls, the people that are most productive when the rest of the world is asleep. And I can see how this would be the case, because there would probably be less distraction. Really look at yourself. Try and look at tasks that you've accomplished before, or things that you've accomplished before, and try to see, when did you work best toward them. And I know it's very easy to judge ourselves when we do a bit of introspection, but try to take off the judgment from the self-introspection. If you are a midday person, accept that, and try to then pick your schedule in a way that it allows you to work at your peak productivity period, rather than trying to force yourself into a box of something that you are not. Point is, look at yourself honestly and just see if you are a morning person, and then do the things that are hardest for you to do in the morning, or if you're a night owl, do the things that are hardest for you to do in the night. For me personally, I'm more of, if it doesn't get done in the morning, it won't get done kind of person. For example, as an introvert, if I get invited out for coffee and the coffee is midday, chances are I'll probably find an excuse around midday to not go. And something that I've seen, even with today, my plan was to work out in the morning and I didn't. And now I'm telling myself, I'll probably work out at night. But the chances of that happening are very, very low now. It's always better for me to just get things done early on in the morning. There's this concept of eating the frog. Basically, it's do the things that's hardest for you earliest. But my point is, do the thing that's hardest for you to do when you have the highest level of energy. That's when then it won't feel like so much of a task. You'll be naturally energetic and naturally enthusiastic to do that task. Also, just to make another example, when I was doing my undergrad, I used to study with friends, and I used to be the disruptive friend. Not so disruptive, not too disruptive that people would stop studying, but I'd be the friend that starts talking first. You know, the friend that offers to get everybody water, the friend that is like, oh, do you want to get a break? Do you want to get a snack? I'd be that kind of person, just because I hadn't identified when I'm best at studying. So my friends would normally, we'd go to the library maybe around 6 or 7 at night, and then we'll leave the library around 2, or we'd go to a friend's house and do the same there. But I just found myself sometimes I'd just be looking at everyone, just, waiting for people to finish, I wouldn't even be focusing on what I'm reading. I'd just be thinking, oh, if someone says we can go home now, we can go, that kind of thing, just looking for permission to stop. So this was during my undergrad. But then I was doing my master's, identified the kind of person that I am, a bit more self-aware. And so I'd study around 2. I'd go to bed early first off, and then wake up around 2 and study until maybe around 5 a.m. Then I go back to sleep till around 7. And then I wake up, go to classes or to the lab if I needed to be at the lab that day. And then I just continue. And that was when I was able to achieve my degree by distinction. Third point is exercise. I know this has been said so many times, but it's been said so often because it's the truth and because it works. If you exercise, you end up with more energy, which means that you are able to then accomplish more of your goals. science and psychology around why exercise boosts productivity. But from my own personal experience, I like being active, not just, maybe not even in an active kind of like, oh, let's go to the gym sort of way, but just going out for a walk. I like it because it helps with just boosting my my mood. It's very, very hard to be productive if you are feeling, if your mood is low or if you are feeling depressed. I'll just make an example. There was a period last year where I went through a very, very, very tough time. And one of the things that got me through that period was just going out for my runs or going out for my walks. Okay, so I'm going out for a quick run before I start work. Because I've had this thing here, you know, when adulting is showing you flames and you have this you have this lump in your throat that you can't seem to get rid of. Yeah, so I just want to get rid of that before I start work for a Monday morning, you know, clear the air a bit. So yeah, I just thought I'd post this because sometimes running or working out is not just for losing weight or for aesthetics. Sometimes it really helps with your mental health. Because I was going through such a hard time, I'd wake up with a perpetual lump on my throat, and I'd go throughout the day with that. And if I found time, I just, even during lunchtime, I'd go for a walk and I'd feel better. Exercise or being outside didn't take away the hardship that I was going through. It helped me to manage it. It helped me not to crumble. You know, it helped me to get it gave me enough sustenance to go through that period. So I cannot overstate the importance of sun, going outside and just sensing nature and exercising if you can, or just being slightly active. It will do wonders for your mood, and hence it will improve your productivity and it influence it positively. It brings us to my fourth and most, in my opinion, most important hack, and that is slowing down. Now, I know you might be saying, I will please, that this is a video about productivity. Now, hear me out. You know, if there are any South Africans here, could you just let me know in the comment section, or if you've seen the movie Sarafina? Stay with me, it's going to make sense in a few seconds. So in the movie Sarafina, the actress Leleti Khumalo says a line that has always stuck with me. She says, stars don't do, stars be. Okay, I'm gonna try the real kind of way that she does it. Stars don't do, stars be. The reason I've always loved this concept is that it reiterates that just because we're human, we are deserving of good things. You know, as like we are not only valuable or worthy when we're being productive. So to me, it gives us a permission then to slow down when we need to, and to take a breather, and to just take good care of ourselves instead of focusing on always producing at maximum, you know, because society has placed so much value in the hustle culture, and we're always urged to go, 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 go. And another thing as well, like self-help and self-improvement is also a money like making scheme. You can slow down. Just give yourself permission to slow down when you need to, and just be kind and to be gracious to yourself, even when you are not producing, or even when you are not being as productive as you would have liked to be. Take regular breaks, and if you take good care of yourself, when it's time to go back to creating or to being productive, you'll actually move the needle than you would have if you were running on low or if you're running on empty. Let me know which one of these 4 productivity hacks that I've mentioned stands out to you. Let me know if you don't agree with one of them. Conversation in the comment section. If you're still here, seems like there is something that piqued your interest, why don't you just go ahead and hit the subscribe button? We'll grow this little community of ours. This brings us to our 5th point, which is to minimize distractions. To go ahead and read what the definition of distraction is. Distraction is the act of drawing away or diverting the mind or attention. In the context of self-improvement and productivity, distraction can be stimuli or an activity that often diverts attention away from meaningful tasks, goals, and personal growth effort. Distractions can be external, such as, social media, excessive noise, or interruptions. Other form of distraction is internal, which could be excessive daydreaming or worry or stress. I'm just going to touch a bit on stress because we know that if you feel very stressed or very sad or depressed, it is very difficult to then go out and be productive. Like when you're feeling blue, you're not going to be out there presenting as your best self. So what I would encourage you to do is either remove the stress from your life if it's something that you can actually remove from your life. Like if it's a toxic relationship, just leave, or if it's something that you can't just walk away from, then try and find methods to minimize that stress. For example, exercise or meditations, or find breathing exercises that could just help regulate your emotions and help with the stress levels. Because one thing is that stress doesn't only affect our productivity, but long term it could lead to getting diseases. Like they've actually done research and found that autoimmune diseases are linked to high stress levels. That's it from me. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. In that way, it indicates to me what kind of videos my audience likes. And if you're feeling generous, you could subscribe. That way we can grow the community and you can get a notification every time I post if you turn on the bell. Or you could share it with someone. It might help somebody else as well if you found value in this video.